Hello, hello, and welcome to Of All the Places podcast. My name is John Wigg. That over there is...
Katie Cordy.
Katie Cordy. And Ben, you're like twisting knobs and doing your sound thing over there. Dropping some juice. So, Katie, we've got our good friend Justin DeShazo.
I'm excited.
I mean, this dude he's just been in my life for a while. He's been a huge supporter of our store. That's kind of how I met him. And then his art, his ice carvings just blew my mind. And the dude's a Butte original. And so it's going to be really cool to see how he gets into all that.
I can't wait. I mean, I met him through the store, through his artist series at 5518. That was shortly after I started there is when that launched. So I've just known Justin the artist.
Yeah, and he's a snarky, sassy, beautiful man.
I know. Then he forced friendship upon me, which I was so grateful for. I was like, you're not really forcing me. Like, I like you. We're friends. This is fine with me. There's no fight here.
It's just quintessential Justin.
Yeah. So. And we never looked back. He is just a wonderful human.
Yeah. It's going to be good to dive into his story. So let's do this.
I'm ready.
Let's rock and roll. Ben, juice it up. Justin DeShazo.
Welcome.
Hi, thanks.
It's DeShazo. I just want to clarify that because we're friends and I probably have been saying it wrong.
You said it better than most. That was great.
And it's a capital S, right?
Yes.
Is that pretentious at all?
Is it? Wait, it's not DeShazo?
Obviously. No, it's DeShazo.
DeShazo.
Yeah.
Like D.
D.
DeShazo. What's that?
Think of two E's.
DeShazo.
And then the second half is a separate word.
Where's that from? Where's that come from? The DeShazo.
So it's Italian by way of France, I guess. I did a project in like 7th grade or whatever.
It sounds like a 6th grade info board.
And had to break it down. Somebody had it written. But yeah, French and Italian.
Okay. DeShazo. Mm-hmm. We're locked and loaded.
Where does your perfect skin must come from the Italian side then, right?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah. My mother was a witch. And she had perfect skin. And I got it from her.
Because she was a witch, do you think?
Probably.
I mean, it probably doesn't hurt. I
don't think witch skin skips a generation.
But
that I'm aware of.
Her cousin told me a story once about how they had jumped into like what are they called? Like a grain silo?
Yeah.
To like roll around in the farming bullshit. And she came out of it just covered in welts. So like the milky, creamy, perfect skin came at a cost. She was like crazy allergic to everything.
Huh. What's your routine though? You
Water.
gotta maintain this stuff.
Water.
Okay.
Can I swear?
Oh yeah.
If I fuck with it, it gets gnarly.
That's fair.
So I just gotta leave it alone.
Some of that good Butte water.
The nutritious kind.
Let it roll right in, soak it up. Makes it look like I'm glowing. It's radioactive.
Yeah, it's the arsenic. Just kidding. We learned about Butte water last night, and it's actually really good. So
Butte water is great. Butte pipes are not. That's the delivery?
That's the catch.
Right.
Which it's the infrastructure and it's changing and updating and whatever.
I mean, it's better than it used to be.
Are we going to talk about politics and infrastructure?
We can talk about whatever you want.
We're here to talk to you, brother.
Listen.
That's true. I mean, do you know about politics and infrastructure?
No. I know I'm proud of our little blue dot.
Yeah.
I think locally we did a pretty stellar job. I'm not displeased with the majority of the outcomes right here. Obviously, I want some new breath. It would be nice to have people not scared to shake shit up. But not everybody's cool with making enemies like I am. So
I just feel like you say that, like you keep saying that you have enemies and like the more people get to know you, the less they like you. And I just don't find that to be true at all.
I don't know. I talk shit. I get nervous and I just start talking. And so I'll say the quiet part out loud. And often that doesn't make me a lot of friends. Some people are into it.
I'm into
You
it.
have a broken filter.
Some people are into it. And some people are like, okay, that's enough.
Well, I
We've
just
had
think
enough.
if it's the truth, then nobody should be mad.
That's fair.
As long as you're telling the truth, then I don't know. Don't do things you don't want people to talk about.
Is it my truth? Is it the truth? Is it their truth? I think usually it's my truth. So it reads a little snarlier than whatever the actual truth is.
Well,
And some people are into that. And so sometimes it's well received, and then sometimes I just don't have a lot of friends.
Do you have a big family?
Huge,
Like
massive.
how did this mix with like your siblings? Because like you are a snarky. Let's
So
just, like,
I have
we'll call a
three.
spade a
I have
spade.
3 sisters, the only dude. So I was encouraged to be quiet, but also forced to constantly listen and learn my place and know my place. And this weird attitude didn't come until like, I don't know, adolescence maybe, or puberty was just like, okay, I've had enough. I must break free and be a motherfucker for survival.
where do you fall in the children?
So I have 2 older, 1 younger.
Okay.
So, but for the longest time, I was the youngest. For like 13 years, I was the youngest.
Okay.
And then we found out that there was another one. So she's great though. So my dynamic as far as birth order, because that's a real thing,
Yeah.
is youngest. I
Yeah.
behave like a youngest. I'm obnoxious like the youngest. I'm, what's that word?
Well, I'm the
me out
youngest too, so I can relate.
So is Ben.
What is it
Yeah.
when
I'm in
you're
here with a
like,
bunch of youngest brothers
Yes.
right now.
there's a word for it when
Like
you're
world changers is the word you're looking for.
I
Oh
don't
my
know
God.
if that's it. I don't know
Oh
if that's
my
it.
God.
Yeah.
There's another synonym.
Oppositional defiance disorder comes to mind, where it's like you have to be a shithead, just or you'll die.
Or you'll die. I mean, I guess looking at all of you.
We're survivors.
Yeah, you are
Truly.
survivors.
I mean, I'll never forget. And you've got to tell me your like crazy kid story. But my brothers locked me in our dog's kennel and threw me down the back stairs, just thinking that it was a slide and that I would enjoy it, until it hit the first step and I tumbled the whole way down concrete stairs.
Yeah.
So that's just
I
See,
have a-
sisters are not like that.
No, they're mean.
Well,
They're
I
mean.
have a sister, and so
like more manipulative mean.
Mind
no,
games.
we fought each other.
Oh, yeah. Well, same.
We
There
didn't-
was a lot of like brawling, but
No, there's still like
emotional warfare.
there's
was
still
real.
physical fights when you're sisters. Like
Fair.
my little sister used to chase me around the house with a hairbrush and try to beat me with it.
At least it was a hairbrush. Like we used knives and shit. But I also have a pile of cousins, all nearly my same age, mostly dudes. So it was like I was the smallest. Okay, you're gonna get thrown in the sleeping bag. Down the stairs you go. You're gonna get put in this box. Down the stairs you go. You can fit in this dryer. Hey, come check this out. In you go. Then they lock it. So that kind of shit for sure about survival.
I mean, I have memories of being put in the trunk just because I was the smallest.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I guess that's like a practical solution. But, it is what it is. So
is
you
what
you
it
had a
is.
clan though.
Oh yeah. And a lot of them are still here too. So
And you're a Butte original.
yep.
Now you have to realize that you're the only Butte original in the house tonight.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I usually am when I hang out with you.
Right.
Often. The only one. So I gotta represent.
You do.
Well,
So
you definitely keep us all in check. I
Wow.
will say that.
how many generations of Butte original are you?
Not many. Not
Well-
many. So my parents met here. My dad's parents and grandparents lived here. But my mom's family's all from elsewhere.
Okay. But
Whitehall, Miles City, that kind of shit.
multiple generations on your dad's side here.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how Ben is too. So he's not an original, but everybody else in his family was.
So that brought him back in.
Yeah. Got him hooked.
Do you have stories of the old days? Like, obviously, if you're
Old Butte?
if you're a generational Butte, you have miners in your history, right?
Yeah, I never asked.
Yeah.
They're mostly, I come from trouble.
Okay.
I come from trouble who caused trouble and made trouble, and there wasn't a lot of hardworking stories to be passed down. It was, oh, remember when this guy got busted, or trouble. I'm old Butte trouble, whereas Julia's got glorious stories of her solid Butte childhood that's very endearing. Mine's much darker.
Let's get into it.
No, gross.
No, what do you? I mean, well, what was it like growing up? Because none of us know this. We didn't grow up here,
Yeah.
so that's. I don't mean this to put you on the spot. I'm genuinely interested in.
Well, I asked him if anything was off limits, and he said no.
All right.
Before we got going here.
That's a green light.
I did say that.
But I am genuinely interested in what it's like growing up in this place.
Dirty. Again, calling back to Julia's episode, she nailed it. Like, parks that weren't fully thought out, everything was sharp and dirty and hot. It was scary, but there was crazy sense of community too. Like, it was always good. Yeah, Butte was scrappy, but fun. You could get away with spray painting a building or stealing a car or starting something on fire. Not that I did any of those things multiple times. Yeah, Butte was scrappy, but warm, friendly.
See, that's the thing.
People looked out for you.
It's like a two-sided coin.
Yeah,
you know?
even though you were a little shit and your neighbors knew you were a little shit, if things were amiss, they would have your back.
I dig that. I think it's still like that.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely turned the corner, and now I'm the neighbor that's like, that little fucker. He's hot rodding his car up and down the street, and I'm pissed, and I'm whatever.
Yeah, but if the police showed up on his doorstep, you'd be like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you need?
Dude, run. Yeah.
This kid hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, did you just turn into your own parents?
Oh, no, my parents were terrible at my age.
So how did the change come?
It's an excellent question. I think therapy, breaking generational curses, which is big.
Yeah.
And I think Butte needs to do a lot more of that. There's a lot of recycled trauma that people just keep falling into. I think that's probably part of why they're so resistant to change, is because change is uncomfortable. And if being shitty, or maybe not shitty, if being difficult is easier than accepting that things can be better, then why not just let it keep rolling? I think that's probably part of why there's frustration with what's happening in the big house on Granite. Because I want to see more. I want it to happen faster. Let's go. Let's switch it up.
Well, and I feel like coming from you, a Butte original, that really says something, because all of us outsiders, the people that have moved here, we can say the same sentiment, right? We're like, change, we want it to happen right now. We can see, we had a long talk about potential in our last episode, an opportunity, but we can see it. And that's one of the reasons we love it so much, but we also love it as it is right now. But it's also like validating to hear that somebody who's born and raised here and has continued to live here and put their roots here and have a family here, like, it's not just the people, the outsiders that want the change.
There's room for improvement.
Well, everywhere. In every city in America,
Right.
There's room for improvement.
I had a conversation with somebody once. She and I were walking arm in arm down the street, down Main Street, and we were kind of going back and forth about, people don't like it when Butte starts to change because they're afraid that it'll become Bozeman or Missoula. And I was like, well, we don't really, I don't want it to be Bozeman. I don't want it to be Missoula. I love that Butte's scrappy. I love that we're non-conventional. I love that we're fiercely protective of a lot of good things. But I do recognize that there can be some change. I just don't want it to become that. And she spun around and she was like, but why don't we deserve the same attention? Why don't we deserve change in the way that those places that have grown have done successfully? Like, it doesn't have to be a full cultural change. It can just be, let's change the things that will benefit everybody, which is really what Butte's always been about, is like looking out for each other. That girl, for the record, was Cassie Wick.
Oh, Cass.
She's from Whitehall, though, so it's take it with a grain of salt.
Oh, Cass, just being hopeful.
Do you think it's not change in and of itself, but it's the pace of change? I think about that a lot, just on like a
that people are
countrywide
resistant to, or
No, I don't think change is bad. I don't think people hate change in and of itself. I think the pace of change scares people. Now, for example, Butte now is a lot different than it was when the store opened 8 years ago, right? There have been changes.
Sure.
And most of them are tolerable to the vast majority around here. But if you take a look at Bozeman 8 years ago and today, that change is so magnified and so fast
right,
that is scary. And the people who make the rules and the policies and stuff, it's all by design, it's reactive. So it has to address problems that already exist. So I think at least in my head, I'm trying to wrestle with the pace of change, not change.
That's fair. That's fair because it's all gone so fast, all surrounding us. And that leaves us in this kind of, well, we're stuck in 2000 or we're stuck in 98 or we're stuck in 88.
Generous.
We're stuck wherever we are.
It's 88 with Facebook.
Right. 88 with Facebook. Yeah, I think it could be really great. And it's frustrating, especially being somebody who decided to stay or came back and is raising a family here. Like, my kids are both like, man, I don't know if we want to stay. I don't know if there's anything here. And that's a bummer because it's like, there's family here. You have people here, the sense of community here. You often don't find elsewhere because strangers do look out for strangers here. When something goes wrong, people will rally. I mean, usually it's around a gun raffle or some shit that's insane and whatever. But they'll show up.
Rallying.
They'll show up.
Well,
Yeah.
It might not look like it does elsewhere, but they show up. So it's frustrating that it's not progressing in the other aspects with like streets that don't have 45 potholes per block.
Potholes. I mean, I do think something that, because I do agree, the pace of change freaks people out. But first of all, I personally think that us becoming the next Bozeman or Missoula is just not going to happen because we have the pit.
yeah.
And it's like that
When it's
scares
ugly,
a
they're
lot of
not
people
interested.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's happening right now, I feel like, through stuff like the Business Improvement District and the Uptown Master Plan, as we're trying to not be reactive to growth, we're trying to be proactive so that we can grow in a really healthy way. Because like Bozeman and Missoula have had to be so reactive and just like start doing things. And then it's maybe not the right thing. And it's just things are happening and it's like not going great and people get left behind. But the change that's happening here and the change that I think people are driving forward here is proactive change. Like, we're not growing at this insanely rapid rate. I mean, like the new people were trickling in.
Right.
It's a trickle. It's a drip.
And most of them moved to Walkerville anyways, right?
Yeah,
The northern suburb.
We're up here.
We'll see what happens with the new handful of shops, if you call them shops, on Harrison. I mean, that all happened in Bozeman 15 years ago. What's it going to do here? How long is it going to take for people to be like, oh, I could while I'm driving through Butte, I'll have somewhere interesting to eat. No shade on the spots we've got because they're all great and classic and not necessarily on any sort of beaten path. So you don't think about it.
Yeah.
What's your take on that development out there? Meh.
There's I don't feel like there's anything.
I wish it was different stuff. I'm glad it's something, period.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
glad
fair.
that something's there. I'm glad that it feels like it's getting the ball rolling. Is it the kind of shit that I will hit often? Probably not so much. Do I think we need a third place to get coffee that's got the same name as the others? Not necessarily.
Right.
Would that space maybe be better served as a local small business storefront? Sure. Is that the nature of those kinds of spots? Absolutely not. Do I recognize that? Sure. Is commerce, period, a great thing to be supportive of? Absolutely. So it's kind of like not a double-edged sword, but more like a mace ball with spikes in it. It's like no matter where you grab it, it could suck, but it
Get you
might be
somehow.
fine. And then you can't pull yourself away from it. It's what it is.
It is better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. It's one less thing I would have to go somewhere else for.
That's a big deal too.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I think if you think about all the surrounding areas, Dillon and Whitehall and Basin and all that are going somewhere else.
Right.
And
Come
if we
here
can
instead.
if we can get any more people, just physical people in town, it's going to benefit everybody. Also thankfully none of those chain stores compete with the stores that I own. So I'm okay with that. But
You kind of have a sweet spot too where it's more interesting uptown.
right.
It's cooler to walk around uptown. There's not it's not super walker friendly out there. It's not going to be. That's not the nature of those spaces. Whereas
To me, it's services versus culture.
Yes, absolutely.
Like every city in America has a Harrison Avenue. Growing up, mine was called Calumet Avenue.
But I think
Missoula
that
has Reserve.
I think that is important for growth.
Totally.
You have to have that.
Absolutely.
The commercial.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Spend your money.
The Walmart.
Drive through Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
I would love to not go to Helena one extra month.
Yep.
Like I would love to stay here and get that shopping done.
Yeah.
Maybe not Chick-fil-A because they have
We're not doing
problematic
that.
politics. But that's my own personal opinion.
Jersey
and no one
Mike's. That's
else's.
what we're getting. We're getting a Jersey Mike's.
Jersey.
We can do
Which
Jersey-
is what
Jersey
exactly?
Michael's.
Sub.
big
Sub
sandwiches,
sandwiches?
and it is better than James Jonathan, in my professional opinion.
Okay.
Well, we're not getting anything new that we don't necessarily have, except that iMart.
Yeah,
What is
but
iMart?
It's just
Like an,
eyeglasses.
Apple, like an Apple store?
no, like
That's actually a really
spectacles.
good connection.
like what John
Oh,
has.
yeah,
on
like
his
these things on my
Got it.
face.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
spectacles.
In grandma
do we
from
have-
the 1800s.
Get your spectacles. Do we have an eye?
I mean, we have bits and pieces of it, but
There used to be one in the mall. There's not that
Right.
anymore.
So that I do feel like that's serving a purpose and,
Totally.
and meeting a need. Like, one of those chain eye doctors that's got all the affordable glasses options. and-
Absolutely. Again, one more thing or one less thing I have to leave town for.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
Get your spectacles.
Get your spectacles and your sandwich.
Just like your,
and your
your
coffee.
sandwich.
what's your Monopoly
Yeah.
monocle?
And hit the Planet Fit, the purple place.
The Purple
I
Place.
forget about Planet Fitness. That'll be good. Okay, they aren't scheduled to have any rock shops or any sort of witchery. How do you feel about that?
That's a bummer. It's a missed
Yeah.
opportunity.
Well, being a child of a witch, do you consider yourself one?
Yeah, absolutely. And the weirdos need more spaces to shop too. There's a couple uptown that you can hit up. But again, I mean, we need more. Give us more. There's way more of us now than I think there was publicly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like more people are just like, yeah, the big box faith, the big box religion doesn't fit. What can I do? Okay, well, I look at the moon, I feel excited, or I feel whatever. If I hold this rock in my hand, I get happy. Like it can be as simple as that. So obviously, I wish that there was something a little more catered to freaks like me, so that I had more spots to shop.
I think we're getting there. Slow and steady. We are supported by Steele's Furniture and Appliance. John, this seems insane, but do our notes say they've been in business for 94 years?
That is 100% correct. And hey, kudos to our crackpot team of factoid checkers. Yeah, Steele's is a 4th generation business located right here in Butte. They're selling just about everything you need for every room of your house. So Serta, Beauty Rest mattresses for the bedroom, Maytag and Amana, KitchenAid kitchen appliances, Lazy Boy and Stanton and Ashley furniture, all sold industry-leading products. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch, but to anybody out there, just know that Steele's is literally like the largest furniture and appliance warehouse in the area.
And the one thing that they offer that sometimes gets overlooked is their home accents and seasonal items. Those are the real pops of personality that make a house truly your own.
I daydream about getting home every day after work and sitting down for the rest of time on my beautiful sectional couch that I got from Steele's. That's literally one of my favorite grown-up purchases I think I've ever made.
Steele's Furniture, how can you not love a business that's been around longer than, I don't know, the television?
Like the old picture box?
Shop online at steelsfurniture.com, or better yet, head on over to 800 South Wyoming Street in Butte, Montana.
Katie, one address for you, 146 West Park Street. Tell me what you know about that corner.
It's the corner.
It's the corner.
I'm not great at geography, John.
It's also not geography.
Oh, God.
That is Montana and Park Street, right where Taco del Sol is. We are supported by Taco del Sol. Ugh, and that burrito bowl, give it to me.
Okay, John, but I'm a pita pit girl.
That's not geography either.
Well, you're right. I don't know what it is. But we're also supported by Pita Pit.
Pita Pit's so good. Ugh. Why are we so lucky with these restaurants uptown?
I don't know, but those 2 spots are like my go-to for lunch in town. It's quick, it's fresh, it's delish.
I mean, my hack is that burrito bowl.
No,
Right.
I mean, I am a big fan of the burrito bowl. And did you know that the Taco del Sol in Butte actually has some stuff that the other Taco del Sols in like Montana don't have? Because there are other ones in Montana, but you can only get like the mango salsa and the Southwest barbecue sauce like here in Butte. Those are things specific to the Butte location, which I think is so cool.
Really? I'm a mango salsa guy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's just a Butte thing. So you got to come to the Butte, Taco del Sol. And I've been a Pita Pit fan forever.
Ugh, the falafel pita?
That is my go-to. I'm not even joking. That is what I
Yes.
get. It's so good. It's just when I'm craving just a quick, delicious, healthy lunch, I'm just waltzing into Pita Pit. And it's always so quick that...
I mean, here's the thing. We're all busy, right?
Yes.
And so it's hard to get like quick, good, healthy, fresh food. Pita Pit, Taco del Sol, hand in hand
Oh, yeah.
with awesome.
It meets all kinds of needs. You're not in the mood for one. You're definitely going to be in the mood for the other.
Yeah.
They've got bowls, salads, wraps, tacos, burritos. I mean, across everything.
And smiles.
And smiled. I mean, everybody that works there is so great.
Yeah.
And
Golly.
I just will eat some queso, even though that's naughty for me, but I love it.
Taco del Sol. Do you remember that geography lesson we had earlier? 146 West Park Street in Uptown. It's on the corner of Montana and Park Street.
And Pita Pit is right next door at 140 West Park Street.
I can get on board with that.
140, 146 West Park, right on the corner. Stop in. Tell them you said hey.
Yeah. And just eat it all up.
Enjoy.
Hey, Katie, do me a favor, right? Mm-hmm. Close your eyes for a sec. Take a journey with me. You're out on the sidewalk of 5518. You know, maybe you're taking in one of those beautiful new window displays, soaking it in, making sure that it's got that Katie magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, and there's a slight breeze. But then you take a big, deep breath because you're proud of yourself. And that's the moment when you notice a hint of that familiar scent that often dances between the buildings of Uptown Butte. Then you hear it. And you know where I'm going with this, right? Oh, Juice, hit me with that. Rip it, dunk it, eat it. Rip it, grip it, dunk it, eat it. Yes, Katie, you guessed it. We are supported by our friends over at Pork Chop John's.
Oh, PCJs. Nothing beats a loaded pork chop sandwich. except maybe I really just hammer down those pork nuggets. I can't help it. I love those things.
They're so good.
They're so good. They're addicting. And then I have that jingle stuck in my head for the next 2 days.
Grip it. It's so worth it. It's so worth it.
So good.
Pork Chop John's is home to the original pork chop sandwich. It was first opened in 1932.
Ugh.
And then the Orzati family took it over in 1969. Those guys are just the best. I'd say they had some big shoes to fill, but maybe it's like more like they've got a big pork chop sandwich to eat. I don't know. But just know that PCJ's is in some very good hands.
And I just learned they wholesale all over the northern part of the country.
It's an operation.
Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, Idaho. For you and us to get our PCJ fix, there's 2 locations in Butte. The Uptown Restaurant at 8 West Mercury Street has a sweet, old school counter and the sweetest little walk-up window.
Oh, I love that.
I love the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then the downtown location with a full dining room and the drive-through, because sometimes I just can't get out of my car. And that's at 2400 Harrison Ave.
And feel free to stop at either. Get your pork chop sandwich, get those pork nuggets that Katie's gonna hammer, and then you go and you rip it, grip it,
Rip it, grip it, dunk it, eat it. Rip it, grip it, dunk it, eat it.
Justin, you mentioned that you came back.
Wait, Justin, this is what Katie does.
Wait.
She's like, I'd like to circle back.
No, I'm
She'll
closing the
say
loop.
your name with purpose and a period at the end.
Justin.
Period.
Full stop.
Yeah. I get
Justin.
it. I get it at work all the time.
John.
It cracks me up.
I do that.
Yeah.
But that's how, I
Katie.
have something important that I have to say after that. And sometimes I forget that people are doing other things. I do this to Ben all the time. I'm like, Ben. And he's like, I am in the middle of something. I'm like, okay, let me know when you're ready.
Love it.
Let me know.
But
So
we
are you
we
ready?
know something's
Yeah.
important is
Yeah.
going to happen.
I'm ready.
Well, I feel like I'm closing the loop because on this
Sure.
one little topic, but you mentioned very briefly that you came back to Butte.
Yes.
So you did leave.
I left a couple times. I left in like high school era. And then after high school, I left. I moved to LA, lived with my sister for a bit, and then I went to college in Seattle.
Where in Seattle did you go to college?
I went to the art school.
Nice.
Yeah. Except I dropped out to make poor choices instead. Blew all my money on that and then ended up with no choice but to come back, which brought me back the first time.
I don't think I knew this about you.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you portray yourself, or at least I've known you as just like you've been a Butte.
Oh, yeah. No, I left for a minute. I ended up the second round living on the street, and that sucked.
In Butte?
No, in Seattle.
In Seattle. Okay.
And I was like down and out, rock bottom, making terrible choices, putting all the wrong things first. And then reached out to Nikki, my wife, or she wasn't my wife then. She was some girl I dated in high school who we just couldn't let go, you know? And I was like, hey, terrible choices. Guess what? It got worse. And she was like, okay, if I send you money, will you use it to get home or will you use it to continue to make bad choices? And I was like, who's to say? And she sent it anyway. Western Union, because that was the way you got money
Oh,
then. It was
yeah.
like the Venmo of the 20th century.
Oh, yeah. They still have
Only
that.
it took a lot longer.
They still have that going on.
And then I came back, lived on her couch for a while, and then that was that.
What I know you got money to come back. The idea was to come back, but you had to still make that choice. You didn't have to come back here.
No, I didn't. And I never wanted to, because when you're young, Butte is a shithole. Of all the places, of all the places,
Closing the circle.
TM, are you kidding me? How could I end up here? Somebody strange, artistic, nothing in quotations, like any of the people around. Like I square peg, round hole. I didn't belong here. I didn't feel right here. I didn't feel like myself here. What was I doing? It's that thing about Butte. It felt safe. It felt like, okay, I hit bottom. What next? Where can I go? What can I do? Well, clearly this doesn't work. I have people there who love me and will support me and help me out and lift me up from the bottom. People who know me, people who don't know me, people who have known me for 10 minutes and people who have known me for 10 years, like people who I turn my back on because when you're young and know everything and making shitty choices, that's what you do. And so it was like, okay, I guess maybe it'll be different. Maybe this time things will look or smell or taste more palatable in a way that I can swallow, something I can handle and deal with. So I did. And
So all these thoughts are swirling around in your head, and you're battling these demons as well, all at the same time. And you pick up. Does it feel like you're coming back to somebody, or
absolutely, it felt like I was coming back to Nikki. It also felt like I was letting go of that unreasonable expectation I had for myself. Like, okay, dude, you failed. Dude, you really did not do well here. This clearly isn't for you. The outside world is not friendly in the way that you thought it would be. My success story bombed. My movie sucked. Whatever metaphor you want to use. It was like a giving up on myself. Really, really felt like shit. But she was there. And she was here. And she was also struggling with her own stuff, but was still a light and was like, dude, we'll figure it out. Whatever it looks like. No expectations. We'll figure it out.
and she had the faith in you, or the trust in you to say, "Hey, this is my money. I'm going to give to you."
Right.
Right? That's a big deal.
Yeah. She's always been like a crazy hard worker. Like I've been like on the periphery of dedicated to my job. Like I'll do enough. That's something about me, period, where it's like I love to start shit and then I will procrastinate until it's like clock's ticking. Then I'll get back to it. But she's always been like hard work, responsible, focused, motivated. So the opposite of me. So it was like, hey, here's this guiding light. Come back and we'll figure it out. It doesn't have to look like what you thought it was going to look like. Your life or living here. Neither of those things have to be some glorious, sparkly version right now. Like you can work back to it.
So when you came back, did you see Butte with new eyes?
No,
What did that feel like?
it felt like failure. It felt like I'm back in this shithole. It's cold. It's ugly
It's always
because it was
cold.
like February, March,
Oh,
so
God.
everything was dirty and
Yeah.
slushy and cold. It's like, what have I done? This is a nightmare. And I got a job at Tech, slinging coffee.
At the mill?
Uh-huh.
Right on.
Yep. And it was like, okay, starting again this round, we'll see. It doesn't have to suck.
Did you go back to tech, or was that just a job?
Oh,
that
no,
you-
I never went to Tech.
Okay.
God bless him. Not for me. Nikki's an alumni. But yeah, no, not me. I'm not cut out for school. I don't have the brain for school. I don't
That's
have the
not for
focus
everybody.
for school.
That's one thing I do know.
I barely made it out the like preliminary rounds. just enough to, I think they were like, they felt sorry for me and they were like, oh, we got to get this kid out. But art luckily was something that I was decent at. So I had that to kind of get me pointed at least in the right direction.
So let's talk about your art. You've been one of our artist series at the store, which was super cool. And I think one of the first times that I really noticed you was during the ice carving,
Sure.
when I was just like, dude, that guy's a stud.
Did you do the ice carving? This was pre-me.
I've done it for like,
Crushes it.
This was BK.
oh my God, 20 years maybe? I don't know. However long they've been doing it, I just missed the first year. Every year after that, I've done it.
Did you
'Cause
do it last year?
Yeah.
I haven't won in years because my
Who's winning?
dedication. Well, winners are
Did the
winning.
seal guy win last year?
Winners are
The guy that
Winners are
made
winning.
the seal with the ball.
Probably.
Last
People
year?
who are young and thinking outside the box, they're winning,
this
which
was
they
like an old
should.
guy.
I won a handful of times, felt really great, was really great for my ego. Now I'm in the private club where you only can win the big prize if you've won it before.
Oh, that's
Like you're in a
Oh.
separate
So
crew.
you're not
Upgraded.
different. Yeah.
Which is great and sucks at the same time because it's like, okay, well, what if I'm not as good as I was? My hands hurt. It's cold.
oh my God. No, you're. Wait, what did you make last year?
I don't remember.
Wasn't it like an octopus or something?
That sounds right.
What? You don't
It's
remember?
usually
Look at how nonchalant this
I
guy
know,
is.
I'm
if
like,
there's
shut up.
if there's water creatures or wings, I've done it. Those are like the things I
Where do you
gravitate
do
the
it?
most.
Like, where's your spot?
Daniel Insurance.
Shout out to Daniel.
Shout out to Tom Daniel. Next to what used to be the Gold Rush, I can never remember what it is.
On Galena Street, kind of right below.
Oh, yeah.
Rich's Tell. Next
Yeah.
to that, not
Yeah.
in front. That's a different guy,
Right.
but next to it.
But you were always on my radar because you came into the shop and you were super supportive of our weird little store when we first opened, and it was great. You still have an original T-shirt, I think, from our farmers market, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, proud of you.
Thanks.
So I knew of you, but then I saw like this magic that you carved, and I was like, wow, I want him in my orbit.
Thanks. That's great.
Yeah,
I'm glad I snowed you over and fooled you in that way.
you just keep fooling me. I'm
You-
all right with it.
You asking or reaching out, being like, "Hey, would you want to do this?" last year, totally shifted my like creative trajectory, self-worth, because I was like in the thick of therapy at the time, working like just hammering down all the shit with like successfully handling trauma and coming out on the other side as a new person that I'm still a gnarly bitch, but I was way
why we
worse.
love you.
I was way worse. And so like coming into last spring when you had reached out and Heidi from Headframe was like, "Hey, would you want the wall one of these months?" I was like, "Oh fuck, people care." And I'm worth it.
Well, yeah.
I'm worth this attention. I'm worth whatever. And that shift made last year one of the best years of my life in a lot of ways. Obviously, my kids are phenomenal and my life is good in a lot of ways, but that creatively is self-worth. Like last year was tits.
Well, you crushed it, man.
Thanks.
Like, I absolutely admire your art. It's beautiful. And I think it's
weird.
I think
It's weird.
it should be weird. It comes from you.
Right.
Okay, it's weird, but it's not unapproachable.
Right.
Like, I think all art should be weird because otherwise, like, what are you doing?
What is art?
Yeah.
Well, my art for 5518 was approachable. Some of it, it's not for everybody. The latex covered nun, that's not for everybody.
Okay, but art shouldn't be for everybody. That if you're making art for everybody,
Absolutely.
you're not doing
Right.
a good job at it.
I don't want my shit to hang on a wall at a hotel.
Right.
I want it to hang at the Morris Mansion
Good God.
in one of the unused
Studios.
guest rooms.
Well, I actually knew because when I first started at 55, it was your artist series that was like live and like new.
Okay.
So I knew
yeah.
your art before I knew you.
Right.
And so then I,
That's cool.
met you and like we started to get to know each other. But so that was, I feel like I have a different perspective on that because that was like, I've only known you as an artist. Like I never knew that, like that's all I've known you as, like
Sweet. I'll
Justin
take
the
that.
artist,
I'll take that.
but I can't possibly be the only one that's like that too. So like,
Well, I think as far as young people go, old Butte, they know me as whoever.
You're just
Well-
that rugrat from the flats.
Right. Legit.
Yeah.
but also Justin the artist.
Right.
Well, that's the thing is like one of the things that I'm drawn to your art for is that I know you've been through some shit, and I feel like I can feel that in the art that you create.
In a way that still feels approachable, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
The trauma contributes to the weird in a way.
Approachable and like in a very appreciative way of like, this is, you can feel the feelings.
Great.
And that's what I think, I don't know, that's what I want in art.
That's the beauty in
You
all
want-
art, I think.
Yeah,
It's like the connection and when you can create an emotion in somebody or somebody looking at your art can feel the emotion you felt when you're creating it,
Sure.
there is no higher power, I don't think.
Yeah, you want to feel the feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that is the coolest thing ever. And your art definitely emotes that.
A lot of really great, uncomfortable stuff was getting worked out with like my inner voice when I was doing the bulk of the art that I did last year. Having that deadline of Heidi being like, hey, your shit's in June. I was like, okay, now I have to fill this wall. How am I going to fill a wall? And I've seen some people and their stuff is phenomenal and they'll put 6 to 10 pieces up and it feels really cohesive and representative. And I had 42 pieces on that wall.
Wow.
42 pieces?
42. I
So
packed
much
that
work.
fucker so tight. And it was because I had the chance to be like, oh shit, I'm having a really good time doing this. It makes me want to do this. And then that sucked. I can do that better. I'm going to flip it and do it this way.
How many total pieces do you think you made for that show?
42.
Was it 42 exact? Okay. What a great exploration.
Yeah.
And my little artist night, the reception night, I sold everything but 6,
What?
which ended up selling all but 1 by the time the month was out, which was phenomenal. And I don't expect to ever hit that kind of glory again. But holy shit, was I riding high, and I was a cocky prick for like 4 weeks because I was like, yes, oh my God.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a great
Oh my
feeling.
God.
And it was like truly you had kicked it off by being like, hey, would you do this?
Well,
So
I can't
thanks,
take any
John.
credit.
Yes, you can. And I'm telling you right now, you can.
I'll let you pump me up.
And the
That's fine.
You
glory
guys
that
just keep,
came
like,
from
loving each other.
the social media girl,
Lady.
being like, hey, I'm the social media girl for 5518. What can you tell me
Smile for
something
the
about
photo.
yourself? And I was like, no, gross.
And that's it. That's all you
Which
get.
is what I've done for the last 30 some minutes.
And I was like, well, that's not going to work for me.
yeah.
I'm going to need you to spit something out.
And next thing I know, she's hot shit with her boyfriend.
He is my boyfriend.
Playing music in the alley. I think you
Only
were
call
then.
him my boyfriend.
I think you were still. I don't think
No.
you were married then, right?
No, we weren't married.
Yeah,
but
see? So I fucking got it right.
Wow, you got
I
it
still,
real right.
I still call him my boyfriend.
Yeah, you should.
He's,
We all should.
yeah. Ben is everybody's boyfriend.
We know.
The most ineligible bachelor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a phenomenal feeling. Like I got to work out a bunch of shit. I got to feel really seen. I got to share that really vulnerable, weird, dark, but also kind of healing part of myself. It was great.
Can you tell me about your process when you make the art? Do you have to get to a dark place in order to start that process? Or,
Not at all.
Or does it just come
I'm
out of you?
inherently in the dark place.
Okay.
It takes a lot to pull me out of it. No shit. Like,
No,
shit.
I'm
Like-
only like, I feel like that's a lot of artists.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Well, and I've said, like, I didn't come from the nice parts of Butte. Like, my story was dark. It was filled with darkness and scary shit and heavy shit and other people making bad choices. And I could have gone down one path, but I was fortunate enough and had the most excellent therapist who like got me on the right path. And then some dude, took a shot and wanted me to express myself. And it just like opened the floodgates for all of this shit to come out that felt good and felt right. And in some cases felt like it may be approachable. Like if I soften it a bit, somebody will like this, which
But
is
do
why
you
there was a
wanna
lot
do
of
that, though?
skulls with flowers. So it wasn't just heavy. It was like, oh, but it's also like a reflection of my own duality or whatever heavier conversation there is there.
we are proudly supported by the Covalite Theater. The Covalite Theater is where all the cool kids are hanging out these days, I hear, John.
Uptown Butte.
Uptown Butte. It's at 215 West Broadway. Little address, plug it into your Google Maps, and head there basically any night of the week to catch all sorts of stuff. Like
The Covalite's like the crossroads of the art culture right now.
100%. I mean, there's nothing else like it happening in Butte right now.
2 theaters inside of that old church.
You have two venues for the price of one, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they've got it all going on there. They've got open mic. They've got all sorts of other events you can catch. Comedy, film, dance lessons, vaudeville, burlesque, workshops like drink and draw.
Oh, drink and draw is always fun. You've got to go to it.
It's
if you
so
have the
fun.
chance.
It's so
Yeah.
fun. You drink and you draw, and that's basically it, but it's
It's
great.
a win for everybody.
It's a win for everybody. You can rent their space for private events. And mostly you can just go boogie to some awesome live music.
Yeah, the Covalite's doing a great job.
So go check out the Covalite. You can find them at 215 West Broadway and covalitepresents.org for all the listings for their free and ticketed events. And here's what they've got coming up in the next couple weeks. On Friday, January 31st, check out Sasha Bell and Gift Horse. Don't miss open mic every Tuesday. On February 5th, we've got Drink and Draw with Carrie Workman and also Heavy Metal up on the big screen, those awesome movie Wednesdays. Check out 302 Comedy Presents Regional Comedy Nights, Thursday, February 6th. And definitely don't miss the Cutler Brothers Theater Presents Love in the Rockies, a new comedy of errors for Valentine's. Check that out on February 7th, 8th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. Stay tuned on all of their upcoming events at covalitepresents.org. We are thrilled to be supported by the one, the only, the legendary M&M Bar and Grill.
Dun, 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 dun.
Did you know that if you're listening to this episode right now on its release date, which is a Thursday, you could pop in your earbuds, waltz down to 17 North Main Street in Uptown Butte, and listen to us while you enjoy our $20 tenderloin dinner. Every Thursday is the M&M's steak night, which includes fries or a baked potato and grilled Texas toast. Oh my God, I'm such a sucker for Texas toast. That's a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, I tell you what, my go-to meal at the M&M, the King of Clubs Club Sandwich. Now, I'm going to tell you how spoiled I am for just a hot minute here. The M&M is literally 20 feet from my desk. But, I'll just do the waltzing. I'll go down to the M&M. They'll whip me up a King of Clubs right in front of me while I sit at the counter and, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And they've got some killer merchandise from their Long Live the M&M shirts to some sweet vintage throwbacks that I know 5518's had a hand in creating.
That was a fun one. We got a picture from an old-timey hat. We rebuilt that thing, and it is back to life, just like the M&M. It's such a fun design. So eat at the icon, and then you can take home a little piece of that Butte history, right?
You got it. That's the M&M Bar and Grill at 17 North Main Street in Uptown Butte.
We are supported by Casa Grande's Steakhouse. My goodness, you can't beat that hand-cut Rocky Mountain beef with that perfect amount of signature Casa Grande seasoning. Just let me dive into one of those petite fillets. You got to go medium rare with that, Katie. It's literally a religious experience. What's your go-to meal at Casa Grande's?
The Arts spicy cream sauce
Yes.
pasta. That is like crack. I'm
sure.
totally obsessed.
Like I said, religious experience. But the whole menu is truly off the charts. I'm talking made-to-order pastas, chicken, seafood, of course. We can't say Casa Grande Steakhouse without sushi night. If you miss that, you're straight up missing out. Every Thursday, sushi night. Thank us later for that. Casa Grande Steakhouse, you'll literally never be disappointed.
And you'll never leave hungry.
For sure. You should actually just order a to-go box with your meal. Casa Grande's is located inside the historic Bertoglio building at 801 South Utah Avenue in Uptown Butte. Casa Grande Steakhouse, where you'll always be welcomed as a part of the family.
So, but you like, when you went to college, you went for art.
Yes.
And so you've always made art.
Yes.
When did you really start like making art and you realize like this is something that I'm really good at and I really love and like helps me a lot?
I was a kid. I couldn't tell you.
Like child.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has it always been the same medium or have you
No.
explored different?
Shifting, like in the river or whatever. I really like sculpture. Obviously, ice isn't the best. I did sugar for a long time, like
That's cool.
cakes and shit. It was, it was hot on the Food Network too at the time. So it was like happening in real time and people were willing to shell out the cash for the birthday cake that looked like a guitar or whatever.
Oh my God, you can do that?
I totally can. I could. I can't anymore.
I'm sure you don't just like lose skills.
Well,
You get a little rusty.
I got rid of all that shit.
Well, you don't have the tools.
Right.
Okay.
I have this. I have the skill, not the tools.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'd still eat your throwaway cake.
I'm
Just
glad
saying.
you finished that the way that you did, because I thought it was going to get weird and sexual for a minute. I've been waiting this whole time for that.
Are we gonna cuddle after this?
Are we gonna make out?
There's too many youngest brothers in this room right now.
But sculpture, ice, sugar, clay, whatever, painting, drawing, watercolor, acrylic, oil, whatever. Like, I like
You've dabbled.
Yeah. I haven't mastered any.
Yeah, how do you
but
continue to seek that out in a small town like Butte? Because I know there's Hungry Hill Art Center. I know there's drink and draws at the Covalite Theater.
Sure.
Do you just have like a room that's your sanctuary?
My living room,
Nice.
really. Talking about those other spots, though. What's happening right now in Butte is phenomenal. That work that Rachel Marjama just did on the side of Isle of Books and Bucks. Holy shit.
That mural is
It's so
Dynamite.
cool.
The work that BT and Carly are doing at their shop and in the world with their stuff. There was somebody else that I was just thinking of. Oh, Christine of Lost
Yeah. Yeah.
Ornithology. It's birds.
It's birds. Whatever the birds one is.
Whatever the birds one is. She also runs the teen art camp in the summer at the Art Chateau. And I got my youngest involved in that this summer because my kid is way better than I am at every artistic endeavor.
That's good.
But they got to rock that Christine's program this summer. So Butte's got a lot going on. So that also makes it feel like a possibility here, seeing what all these other people are doing, what they're capable of, and how people locally have embraced it.
Right.
You know,
They've
just-
really made a space for it here.
truly,
Like-
and just the Friday night art walks.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And that hasn't always been.
No, and that's, I mean,
That's because the youth is taking over
well,
in a lot of ways. Maybe not in the big house, but in a lot of other ways.
right. But it means that everybody else is also like on board with it and supporting it because like
Right.
it can't just be like the youth supporting each other, which they do. You
Which
know,
they really do.
They really do, but it is being supported by the community at large. Like these things wouldn't continue to crop up and happen and be supported and not just happen 1 year. We get 1 year of Art Walk and then that's the end.
Right.
Like that happens here with other things. It's like people do want that and they want the space for artists. And I definitely feel like Butte is becoming kind of like this artsy little hub.
Totally.
And it's so cool.
In a way that we see, like when you walk around downtown Missoula, you may not see it in Bozeman as much, but Missoula's art scene has always been like super weird and really in your face and everywhere you look. And it feels positive in that way where it's like, oh, fuck, we can have nice things too.
Yeah.
And they don't just happen. Like I think that's what you're getting
Yeah.
at, Katie, is like people need to support that stuff.
Yes.
And it's not just 14-year-olds like hanging out with their homies.
No, like
Right,
if,
you know?
if it's not supported by the community, it just won't come back. Like,
Well, and in some cases, it's okay to outsource that support, which I think is what happened with Rachel's mural, which y'all, if you haven't seen it, it's on Broadway. It's like this insane version of the Velveteen Rabbit, and it looks like velvet, and it looks like a textile, and it looks like it smells like patchouli.
it
smells like
But the funding
like an
for
old
that-
hardback book.
Yeah.
Like it truly does.
The funding for that came from someone who doesn't even live here, who was passing through town and saw another mural or a ghost sign or some shit and wanted to be supportive. And it's like, hey, listen, outsiders can bring good shit. Let's let good shit happen. Let's let it in.
Yeah.
Let's be like, hey, we can have nice things too. We can have people that shovel the sidewalks or whatever.
We're gonna.
Yeah, right?
But that's the thing, though. We do need to allow that. We need to create spaces and opportunities to allow things like that to happen.
And Old Butte wouldn't do that. Old Butte digs its heels in. Am I pointing a finger at the boomers? Yes.
Quite possible.
Yes, I am. Was that what I was going to say a minute ago? No, I was going to say no, of course not. But yes, we fucking are. Stop. Just let nice things happen.
And they can happen. They
can happen.
Yeah, they're
they are
happening.
happening. It's going to be really great. And the way that the youth, again, I keep saying the youth, they sound like I'm 100, are supportive of new shit and things that don't look the same as what they've seen for 15 to 20 years, that they're all for it. There's this community of acceptance and support that I think as the ancients start to drop off and the next generation
I do like that too.
Sorry. The next generation gets to like step up and be like, okay, I mean, we're not all fucking couches. Some of us are trying to like make murals happen
Yeah.
so that people can appreciate art and feel good about themselves in a space that maybe would otherwise be
Well,
or
so
feel caustic.
not every single person that grows up here wants to make an immediate exit,
Right.
right? Like you want people to want to live here. And like you're definitely doing that. You're making an impact by making art here and like being a successful artist here. Selling out like your whole show is insane.
That blows my mind.
Like
Yeah, that was
that's
a
I mean,
crazy
how
First
much
of all, it's so many
validation
pieces,
is that?
like-
it's an insane
it's
amount.
not
of
like
art.
6 to 8 pieces
Yeah.
either. It's like that's
Right.
so much art, and then to sell it all in like the duration of the show.
Full disclosure, I have like a rabid support staff of friends and family. and-
Okay, but that just that's
were like,
don't discredit
you know.
that though.
No, not at all. But just full disclosure, like some of that shit only could have gone to people who are as weird as me because they're friends with me, or I'm friends with me, or I'm
Don't
friends with them
discount
because
people's
of that.
hidden weirdness.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like my level of weird is 11 out of 5.
well, and I
as
love
you
my
know.
friends, but I won't pity buy something.
Sure.
I feel like
I do it all the time,
what?
constantly.
Dude, you're wearing
Because
one of our hats,
I
man.
no,
Pity
sorry.
buying for my
only
You
because,
can't
but
say
let me
that.
tell you why. Because if I've got $5 to spare and you're struggling to feel the self-worth that like I was lucky enough to feel, if I've got $5 to spare and somebody's being vulnerable and sharing their shit, I'll totally do a pity buy.
Okay, but
I
you're,
mean,
you're
there's
still
some
gonna
stuff-
select the thing that like you resonate with the most.
Am I? Or am I going to buy the thing that's moving the least so that they can feel confident in that?
Well, that's really nice. Also,
I'm also a really nice person while being a total fucking monster. Anyone
that's-
could tell you.
that's nice. I'm gonna like.
I will shovel your sidewalk and call you a piece of shit at the same
Well,
time.
I
that's
guess
beautiful.
that's the moral of the story, I think, right there.
I think that's beautiful.
Right. And
No,
that's me as an
you're
authentic.
a Butte original.
Yeah, I'm a Butte original. That's what we do.
I'll take care of you, but god damn it.
I'm going to be
Clean up
a
your yards.
fucking curmudgeon about it the whole time. But I'll do it.
yeah.
And I secretly will find joy in it
Right.
while I do it.
Right.
So with all this art, like you feel this art community happening, you've come back from Seattle and you've kind of made your statement as an artist in this community. Do you feel more at home now?
I feel more at home than I ever have in my life. I think part of that is middle age, 43.
You didn't have to say that.
I did. I didn't.
You look like you're 20, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What's this all about?
Virgin blood baths twice a day.
Oh,
Twice a day.
twice a day. That's
That's
like
what
that's just a lot of time.
There's an ease that comes with middle age. Like I didn't feel the need to get a Porsche or have an affair or any of the shit that a lot of people do at middle age where it's like, oh, fuck, I'm halfway there and I don't have what I want. Instead, I got to go through enough terrible shit beforehand that it was like, oh, holy shit, I made it here. I've made it this far. I've had an opportunity to share the like weird, gross, gooey, vulnerable parts of myself and feel so accepted and so seen that like you can't undo that kind of growth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that I'm super grateful that got to happen here where I had beforehand for the longest time attributed it to just being a shithole with nothing to offer. But instead, you can feel authentic. You can be successful in whatever capacity. Like many things are true at the same time.
Well, I think I think one of the things that credits you to feeling that is that it can only happen here. I'm not sure how, like, your growth and you overcoming some crazy past, I'm not sure you could have done that elsewhere.
I don't think it would have been as effective if I did it somewhere else. Because a lot for me, I drive down any road here and I can tell you what used to be a traumatic story. I can go down travel in any neighborhood and be like, oh, this is the terrible shit that happened here. Oh, this nightmare thing happened to me here. Oh, this sucked. But instead now, again, I think I said it to you earlier, my kid calls it dad lore, where I will drop these nuggets of, oh yeah, I learned French in high school so that my sister and I could have a secret language to speak at the foster home we lived in. I think that the reason that it's as uplifting for me now as it is, as healing as it is now, is because it happened here. Because being surrounded by things that should be triggering instead get to be, oh shit, I made it.
Like you made it out in a different way. Like you didn't make it out in the way that you thought when you left of like, I need to make it out of here physically,
Right.
But you made it out emotionally and you still get to stay in the place you love with your family and your support system.
Absolutely. And building support continuously, which again, I think I automatically want to attribute it to middle age, where it's like there's an ease that comes with forming new relationships that when you're young and nervous and are they going to like me or are they not going to like me? Like I get to be the prick who is like,
There's a maturation.
swallow me or
right?
don't. Like I'm not for everybody. That's okay. The people who I am for though are like, fuck yeah, let's chat more.
Yeah.
Let's hang out. Tell me what this means. What do you think about this? And that happening here is phenomenal because it's very healing.
I don't know what you do every day.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about that.
Aren't you a scientist or something?
No, gross. I do gross. I do clinical research. So
That sounds like a scientist to
drug
me.
trials,
Pretty
like
sciencey.
medications that are like not approved yet that we're trying to see if they are beneficial or helpful or not the monkey stuff because my heart can't, but the people parts.
Human testing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what we should be doing. Test on
Which
the
is great
humans. We're
because it's
terrible.
like
That's right.
in a lot of instances, we do have some folks here who wouldn't be able to afford whatever treatments. And often it's like, okay, this is a chance for people who wouldn't otherwise get it to like have a chance to heal in some way because of medicine. So
That's cool.
yeah,
How long have you been doing that?
I had my 14-year anniversary on the 2nd of November.
Well, God. That's a long time.
I'm 100 years old, Katie.
No, you're not.
It's the virgin.
I'm way older than John.
John.
I'm like super old.
brother.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm glad that we have that here too. That's something that not a lot of people know about that exists right in your own backyard, contributing to medical advancement
Yeah. In Butte.
in Butte.
Of all the places.
Of all
oh, God.
the places.
The
If I don't
cliche
get one
is
of those
deep.
hats, I'm gonna fucking
Cliche
riot.
is deep.
We forgot your hat.
Oh man.
We have that.
Justin, you've been through some shit. Thanks for opening up. First of all, like,
it was
this is-
accidental. I don't do it a lot.
That's good. We can edit that out if we need to.
Fix it
No,
in post.
it's you've got a great story. I love it. I do. I love you. Your art
you
is
too.
amazing. Like this is this season 2 of the podcast is my crush podcast.
Okay.
So like every guest, I just like pet them as they leave the studio.
I'm excited for it to get weird.
Calm them down.
But I love the fact that you went out, you went through some stuff, you got back here, you're starting to feel like yourself here, if you don't already. I personally wish you continue, like, I hope you sell 1 million of your paintings. They're amazing.
Thank you.
Keep doing that.
Get your checkbook.
I
Or
have-
Venmo.
Check
Pony up.
Pony up. Yeah,
He
that
is
works.
100 years
I've
old.
got
I
a
am hungry
checkbook.
as
Hey, we live in Butte. Okay, everybody
Sometimes you
needs
need
a
a
checkbook.
checkbook.
No, you need a checkbook.
You
okay?
often need a checkbook more than you
often
would
than
fun. Like I can't tap my phone. You'll
No,
take
you
a
can't.
check.
No tap to pay.
Yeah.
Right.
Checks.
Yeah.
Personal checks from in town only.
Oh my gosh, it's true.
And if you fuck them over, they will write your name on that wall.
Yeah. You want
And
to
they
be up
mean
on
it.
the wall
And
of
they
the
will
freeway?
write your name on that wall.
Yeah, Katie Cordy, bad check down at the freeway. Not me. I've never written a bad check.
Say your last name again.
Cordy.
No.
What?
No.
It's too blunt, isn't it?
No. I've never heard someone say something wrong that fast in my life.
It's
It needs to
Katie
be more
Cordy.
exotic.
It's Katie Court. She's been Katie Court in my brain since April of last year.
Katie Cordy.
No, that's made up.
Oh
Knock
my
it off.
God. Call me whatever you want.
We spent the first part, you're breaking my last name down. Am I saying it right? And then
Well, yeah, I
now
wanted
we
to
get to like circle back in. Is that why you did that?
We can say my last name wrong now.
Cordy is wrong.
Court it is.
Cordy.
Katie Court.
I do like Katie Court, though.
Katie
Are you
Cordy
into a stage name?
sounds made up.
No, I like that they both are E on the end. Katie Cordy.
That's what I dislike about it.
Ooh.
It's too fun. It's
No,
too much.
It's so fun.
It's
I love my
too
name.
fun.
That's why I didn't change my name when we got married because I'm not giving that up. It's fun. Katie Cordy.
It does
Isn't it
roll
great
off
that
the
you don't
tongue.
have to
Right?
until that executive order comes through in the next hot minute?
I told Ben we just better get our divorce
Under his
now.
eye.
Kidding. We'll still live together.
For the insurance.
He'll be my eternal boyfriend.
Live in sin for a while.
Yeah,
There you go.
my forever boyfriend.
Everyone's forever boyfriend.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
The hair and the ass, the personality.
I know.
Holy shit.
Yep, Mr. Fun over there.
Just tweaking knobs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doing the
there
work.
he is.
My glass has been empty for like 45 minutes, but everyone else got a refill.
Wow,
fine.
Ben.
He's a little bitchy, isn't
And
he?
I told
we love
you,
about him.
sweet, I'm the Sour Patch Kid.
Somebody's got to do it.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Okay, all
Justin DeShazo, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to leave you with one question.
Okay.
And
My body's ready.
oh wow,
Good.
on that note, I love that you're contributing to the art scene here in Butte. It's flourishing, I think. And I think we're on the precipice of some really cool stuff going on in town. And I think that you're a part of that, even if you don't think so. So thanks for that. And continue to work hard and go to those places that you need to go to make that art. When I think of Butte, we always think of 100 years ago and how great and crazy awesome this place was. Massive city in between Chicago and Seattle, and we lit up the world and all these great stories. What I'm curious is in 150 years into the future, when people look back at this particular time in the history of Butte, what are they going to talk about? And how are they going to see your fingerprints on this town?
Jesus. Or I guess Jesus' mom,
Jesus?
because she's on the mountain.
That's right. That's God's mom.
My fingerprint. I hope that my fingerprint ultimately just leads people to be a little kinder. I know my personality often would lend it to you to believe the opposite, but to be a little kinder. That's the thing about Butte that I love the most, and that's the thing that I hope is still present in 150 years. I hope they've filled in the pit or knocked the wall down and taken out the flats. I live on the flats, so I can talk shit. I hope that we're finally caught up with everyone else. I hope that the people that come after us have allowed the kind of change that could make this the really great space that it wants to be. That it is, ultimately, truly deep down in its gross, gooey inner parts. I hope that that's where we're at. I hope that we continue to be a shiny blue dot in a big red blob. I hope that we can just continue to be kind and supportive of everybody, whether, you're an artist or a musician or a fucking construction worker, whatever it is. Just be nice to each other and look out for one another. That's it. I felt very Mr. Rogers / Sesame Street there for a sec.
I mean, they're classics for a reason.
Right.
And you nail it with
I
that sweater.
do have the sweater on.
You're
Nailed
full Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, with RBG peeking out because we
She's
just
saying hello.
Yeah. Well, keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for
Love
sitting
you.
down with us and chatting.
I didn't want to do this.
You did too.
I don't want to do this every time we do it. That's the bit, right?
That is
I never
the bit.
want to do this. But here we are, and then I always have fun.
It always pans out, whether we wanted to or not.
No, it's every time I'm like, well, that was actually great.
There's literally something I take away every single time we sit down with somebody.
Did you hit the points you wanted to hit? Did you ask me the shit you wanted to ask?
What I want is irrelevant. Like, we're here to tell your story, and I think you did a good job of it.
Hey, you got anything else for the people?
I mean, no. You'll have to subscribe to the OnlyFans to get that.
That's fair.
And on that note,
We're
artist, scientist,
Oh my God, I'm not a scientist. I can barely write my own name.
the one and only Justin DeShazo. Thanks for sitting down, brother.
Thanks, y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Ben, take us away, brother.
Of all the places.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today, and thank you to our guest, the artist and Butte original, Justin DeShazo. If you're a fan of the show, please don't forget to hit the follow and subscribe button on your favorite podcast app, over on our YouTube channel, and be sure to check out Of All the Places podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Of All the Places is produced by Morris Mountain Productions in partnership with 5518 Designs. Our theme song, of course, is made specifically for our show by everyone's favorite power disco duo, Desperate Electric. For Katie and Ben, this is John, and thanks so much for listening to Of All the Places podcast.